Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about tools. I know, right? This guy always talks about tools. Well, it's because I love tools. They help me make money. They help me build stuff. They help me be creative. They help me take visions in my mind and make them become reality. So I've been stealing tools from my dad since I was a kid. I'd be going out in the woods building little forts. I still remember to this day him coming back mad at me because he found his hacksaw way out in the woods by the swamp. But you know, I was a kid, so if my son steals my hacksaw to go build a fort out in the woods, I'd be really proud of him at this day. All right, so here's what I have decided we should have in our homeowner's toolbox. Now, you may come up with some different things that you think would be a good idea to have. Add them to the box. That's great. Send me a note. Drop it in the comments. Let us know. I'll add it to the list that I will be posting on with the video. These tools, I want to say, you don't have to go buy name brand tools for very expensive prices. All right, these are just Home Depot brand. They got the HDX on there. That's the Home Depot brand tool. One thing I do recommend is going to Harbor Freight for hand tools. Harbor Freight has cheap hand tools. I don't recommend buying their power tools. They don't last as long. If you're gonna get, you know, a screw gun or drill like you should have, I recommend going name brand with that. All this other stuff here you can find at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, and pretty much anywhere that's gonna sell tools. These are your basic tools. So go to Harbor Freight, buy your screwdrivers there. They're cheap. I think this is Craftsman. As you'll notice when I make videos, I have all sorts of brands of tools. That's just because I've been collecting tools for years and years. So let's go over what this stuff is. You guys, you all know what a hammer is, right? You've seen this. You've seen somebody use a hammer at some point in your life. I guarantee it. Hammer's used for hitting things. Just kidding. It's used for hammering in nails. You can use it for prying up nails. You can do a lot of different things with the hammer. Hammers are getting expensive, and they're also becoming more, I want to say, like less general purpose and more made for a purpose. So this one has like a rubber deal in the middle. It's supposed to keep from vibration coming down the handle. Okay, you don't need that. You're not framing houses all day for 8 hours, 10 hours a day. They're all different ounces, different heads. This one's a flat head. They have what's like a waffle head on there. Get the flathead one. The waffle heads are for framing houses. You don't need that, okay? Get the flathead one because we don't want to damage the stuff that we're doing. Tape measure, important, okay? This is Stanley. You don't have to buy Stanley. It's just what I had. So everybody should have a tape measure, and I believe everybody should know how to read a tape measure. So to read a tape measure is very simple. It's just like math in school. And I was horrible at math in school, but I can read a tape measure, so can you. So you have your 1 inch increments, then it's split into halves. So let's say here we have 1.5 inches. Then the other next larger mark would be the quarter mark, and then you go down to the 1/8 and then down to the 16th. So each inch is broken into 16 parts. So let's say whatever we're measuring, let's say this tape right here. All right, it's gonna measure 4 and it's between 1/8 and 3/16. So we'll call that a strong 1/8. So that is how you read a tape measure. When you're ordering blinds, carpet, you don't have to be exact. If you're ordering carpet, you want to go over. Okay, add a little bit extra. The adjustable wrench is great because instead of having to buy a whole set of these fixed sized wrenches, you buy one adjustable wrench. So the fixed size wrench is meant to fit on the bolt. Well, the adjustable wrench, I'll grab this bigger one here, can go for different sizes. So here we've made it fit this size of bolt, or we can have it fit a larger bolt or a smaller bolt. I recommend getting a good When I say good, I mean large. So this one is kind of small. It's not going to open as big as this one. I recommend getting a large. This is 12 inch. 12 inch is a good size for crescent wrench. All right, as I've talked about before, we have the channel locks. Okay, these are super important. I like them better than regular pliers. Regular pliers seem to slip a lot. Crescent wrenches seem to not slip as much. They're adjustable, so let's say this, we don't have our other wrench with us, and you shouldn't use this kind of a tool on a bolt like this, because what'll happen is you'll end up stripping these little corners off, and pretty soon you have a round bolt that no wrench will fit on. But these are mostly used for things that you that are rusty, or if you need to grab a hold of a pipe or something like that. So anyways, I recommend a medium set of these. Hacksaw. This is just a little hacksaw. This is all you're really going to need. You might not even need it, but if you have any plumbing projects that requires you to cut down some pipe, you'll need one of these. These are cheap, inexpensive, really easy to use. I've talked about screwdrivers with you all a bunch, but you know, get a set or get one of these that has interchangeable heads. The back unscrews, and you have your different heads in there. A putty knife is going to be important when patching holes. Sometimes I get into a house and I'm inspecting it, and someone patched the holes and they left a big globby mess. Get one of these. They're a couple bucks, and they will help you smooth out everything. Of course, we need to have a box cutter. All right, we need to have something like this. It doesn't have to be this kind, but let's get a box cutter. My other video, we talked about caulking. I recommend having a tube of caulking with you in your toolbox. This is the Quick Seal kitchen and bath plumbing type. It has an adhesive property to it and is mold and mildew resistant. One option, and I threw this in here as an option, is a pair of snips, tin snips. You might not need these, but if you're doing any sort of tin work, we're going to need these. And these zip ties, I love to have these on hand. You never know what you're going to need it for. I use them when I go on an RV trip. I take a bundle of these. They're amazing. They hold things tight. You could fix so much with a zip tie. It's like duct tape, right? Speaking of duct tape, got some here. Now I do more than just keep this in my trunk with a bag and a shovel. I keep this also in my toolbox because you can do so much with duct tape. And this new Gorilla tape is amazing. Sticks to anything. It's thicker. It lasts. It's great stuff. As I briefly mentioned before, name brand. I've gotten some comments that they're not all the same, as I mentioned before. That's true. They're not all the same. But you're not a professional electrician, framer, home builder, so you can get the DeWalt, Ryobi, Milwaukee, whatever you find. Get something that's on a deal, all right? I do not recommend buying any power tools from Harbor Freight. I learned that lesson the hard way in my early 20s. They don't last long at all. A couple turns, then they're dead. So you get what you pay for when it comes to power tools. But if you buy a name brand power tool, you're going to be okay. Let's talk real quick about drill bits. These need to be in your toolbox as well. You can get just like a kit. DeWalt doesn't have to be DeWalt, it can be any brand. I apologize, this kit's a little messy, it's kind of old. Since I work in the trade, a lot of us end up with just a box of drill bits like this. I don't recommend keeping them like this, but when you're in a trade, sometimes you just get going and this is how they end up. You end up with a lot of miscellaneous drill bits, and this is where they go. Heck, that's a concrete bit right there. So yeah, get a set of drill bits. They go from different sizes. You can see that there. This is going to cover pretty much anything you need. If you're drilling bigger holes, then we're going to get into things like this. where we just buy the drill bit individually. So there we have it, folks. That's what I think everyone should have in their toolbox at home. How many tools you have depends on the job you're doing and the size of your box. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, smash it.